Welcome to the next video in the RadiantSDK tutorial series. I'm going to talk about a couple of more advanced topics, more detail on the interaction section of the WebView, and also on making replicated WebView that works with multiple players. So basically the way that the interaction works with 3D actors is that there is a line traced from the player to the surface, and the trace channel is what is important. When that's done, you need to make sure that your actor responds to and blocks the trace channel that you've told the WebView to use for interaction. And so you can see that that's done in your WebView, usually on, actually it's just going to be here in your collision settings. And so here, this is set to block everything. Now the trace oversize, which was mentioned briefly in an earlier video, this is basically when your surface is very large. When it's determined that you aren't actually pointing at a part of the surface, you stop interacting with it. Your mouse cursor goes away and your input and your movement is restored. But this could also happen if you have something that's very large, and you don't want that to happen because you really are pointing at it. It's just way far away, and so that's what the oversize does. So the oversize is basically, it looks at the size of the area that the volume you're standing in for the collider, and or I'm sorry, it takes the distance from the player to the center of the actor, and then it adds this over to the top of it. So basically, if you're having problems interacting with something that's at a far distance and you should be interacting with it, you want to go ahead and increase the size of this number. So that's that part. The other thing to note is the way that the input masking works when you are interacting with something is actually controlled by this section in the input masked actions area. And for those that were following along, I actually have a WebView open. That's what I'm looking at here. I apologize for not mentioning that earlier. But here's where the masked actions are. So when I am in an editable field on a web page, and I've actually set that I can interact with an editable field by setting this to be cursor and keyboard, it will go ahead and mask these actions from being propagated to the player controller. And so by default it just it does the standard ones for first-person shooters, but you may have your own that you want to add in here. So that's the way that works. And then the last bit is the replicates interaction. And what this does is actually replicates the input that the WebView receives from players. So other players will see the mouse cursor moving and also see the same keyboard input. But this is not actually, it's not sending the texture, being rendered from one player's computer to another. It's just replicating the input actions. This is not something that you should rely on for doing anything local effects wise or things like that. You should use the excellent built-in Unreal networking system for proper gameplay with replicated functions and variables. This is more gimmicky in a sense. You could set up a shared terminal in your game, and players can see what other players are typing and what websites are going to and stuff like that. And that's kind of what it's for. So I'll just show you how to use that now. It's really easy. You just switch it on, and I'll go ahead and play here with 2 players. Now keep in mind, this is the built-in level here, or the example map. So these guys can't actually see each other because they don't have the third-person model. But you can see in the screen on the lower right here, I can see what I am doing in the upper corner here as I'm moving around. And if I go ahead and click on this and start typing, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, here I'm typing, and I'm seeing this on the other on the other guy here as well. So that's basically how the interaction works there. So, and when only one player at a time can use this when it's in this mode. So now oh, I guess I stole it back. Okay. Yeah, so here's the other guy using it now. And I'll go ahead and I'll click on that screen. So there you go. Yeah, and that about covers it for this video, so thanks for watching.